And good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, depending upon where you are around the world. I'm excited to bring you a special edition of Passion Fridays, where we introduce you people that are living in the center of their passion on purpose and passionate topics and things that we think would be of great interest to you. So, thank you for joining us, whether you are joining us live from where we are springboarding today, which is LinkedIn Live. So, all of my LinkedIn friends there, as well as via Restream on the Inside of Love and Stuff community page, the Marcus R. Holmes page, Twitch TV, and YouTube events. If you're on any or all of those platforms, take a moment and click share and tag 5 of your closest friends or connections, 5 of the more popular ones to join in, because you have a chance in just a moment to win some tickets to a virtual event that's happening tonight. If you want to kick off your love game tonight and up your love game tonight, well, we have just the ticket for you as we go into this love weekend approaching Valentine's. I know many of you are going to be celebrating your loves, your boo, your babe, your husband, your wife, your significant other on Monday, but some people are going to get it in on today, tomorrow, and Sunday, right? Well, kick off your weekend with songs of love. I'm excited that you'll have a chance to win. So you need to click share now so that we can give away a couple of tickets for you to enjoy some wonderful music. You know, music stirs the soul. It encourages and inspires the heart. It gets your adrenaline flowing and gets you moving toward the center of your passion. So we want you to be in the center of this event tonight by purchasing a ticket or winning a ticket tonight, and you will not be disappointed. This ticket will not disappoint. It will be one that you will want to share with others. And so I am bringing on to the stage with me a very familiar face in our Love and Stuff community. And those of you in our LinkedIn community may also know her. She is a transplant from Detroit. I always say this. And she is in Houston, Texas, as a pastor, Valencia Etner. And so I'm bringing her here live with us, and she's going to share with us a wonderful event. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to share this, and we're excited about tonight and just being able to kick off, like you say, this love weekend.
Yes,
with songs of love, and songs of love have been a staple for love. Sometimes they say the message that others cannot say. I think of Ron Isley saying, might as well find a card that can say it better. Sometimes the song says where you are in love better than you can articulate yourself.
And so, yes. And so before we delve into that, I think that was a good commercial. I should have had you make that commercial. We're going to give some tickets away. So those of you that are joining, you need to click share now, because we're giving away tickets and you don't want to miss this event tonight. But for those of you that may not know, Valencia is one of my song sheroes. I, of course, am a church baby, grew up singing, and one of the guardian singing angels that I had was Valencia. And so a lot of what you hear in my song stylings and choices of things have been influenced by who Valencia Etner is. So I wanted to put that out there because I want people to know that I'm excited that you're doing more singing. You're pastoring, you're in school for your doctoral ministry, you're a social justice activist, but you also are still holding true to singing. So I want to ask, as we're going into that, how important is music and singing to you?
It is my happy place.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter what the struggles are that are going on. If someone starts playing something, or if I go, in my limited way, play it myself, there's a way that there's something that happens on the inside. There's a shift.
Yeah.
There's a there's a calm
Yeah.
that comes, and I'm grateful for for this voice that has been holding up over all these years, and it's changed, it's shifted, but God has still allowed it to bless others, and because of that, I'm grateful. I'm very grateful for
Yeah.
it. But it is my absolute happy place. There's probably no more serene place for me than behind a mic.
Wow. I love it. And again, some of that rubbed off on me because people, the things that people say, Valencia, they say, whatever you're singing, you're always smiling. I said, because I'm in the center of it. As a matter of fact, someone recently asked me, what's on your mind when you're singing? It's just so engaging. And I said, it's a place of true peace, is a place of equilibrium for me. So I think in part it's
I like
because
that.
the upbringing that I had around great
That
singers like
equilibrium.
you
Yep.
that made me approach it that way. It is an equilibrium for me. It's a place that I'm most at home, and it's a place that I can be most me. So I love that you've imparted that. And I don't
Absolutely.
even think I've ever shared that, but you've imparted that. It's always engaging to smile. And I've all along, I can remember in different rehearsals in the time, you saying, okay, what you singing? Why are you
Why you
smiling?
say
Yeah. Why you singing? What's this? So thank you for that. So I want to
you are
delve
so
into this songs of love. How did this happen? How did we get to songs of love?
well. This was actually the brainchild, not of myself this time, but of one of our members, probably one of the strongest go-getters
Mhm.
in the church. She was just thinking of ways that we could meet some obligations that have been difficult to meet
Mhm.
during these pandemic times. People gave when they thought they were going to leave here, but now that they know they're going to live, it's kind of they've kind of waned a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so there's some things that we must do in a timely fashion. And she was like, okay, well, let's capitalize on this love time, and you talk to those two gentlemen that are close to you and see if they're willing to do this. And of course they were. One is my godson, the incomparable Ronnie Coleman Jr. If you're not familiar with him, I I would send you to YouTube and every other musical platform there is. Once you hear him, you will be in love, and there
Mhm.
will be you will always he'll be a go-to for your jazz moments, for your need for that jazz feel good music.
Mhm.
That's one of his things. He's Ronnie Coleman Jr. and Merlot. Merlot is the band and his
Mhm.
music corporation, and so he's amazing. And then there is an Andre James, and Andre James has that silky smooth soul singer voice, and it's just been a good collaboration for us over the years. And we've not necessarily done something that was just us. Like in other concerts that I've had, he's come and done a couple of songs. But when Sister Branch said, let's try to do this, she said, see if Andre will do it. And once he said yes, I was absolutely excited. He's been through some things, but God has kept that voice, and I am grateful, grateful, grateful. I think you will. I know. I don't. It's not a think. I know you will be like, where these people been?
Yeah.
Because
And
it's really,
and
he's
so are
really
you all going to be doing individual songs
both,
together, a compilation?
all of it.
Tell us a
Will
little bit more about whet our appetites a little bit
it's
about what we
gonna
can
be kind of
expect.
living room. It's gonna be kind of living room, although we'll be in the church and we are not singing anything that God would not be pleased with. Love
Okay.
is of God. Love
That's
is
right.
ordained
Yeah.
by God.
Yeah.
That we will be kind of sitting around, standing around, just on that platform, enjoying the gifts that each of us has, and being collaborative and allowing people to do what they do, and just again, it will be an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes of just joy, the joy of love.
Joy
in
of
all of
living.
its facets, in all of its facets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about, I mean, you told us about Ronnie and Merlot. Is it like the wine, smooth like the wine,
Yeah.
Merlot? Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead. Now, Ronnie.
Mhm.
And so these gentlemen are Texas natives, or how did you connect with them once you came to Texas?
Yeah,
Okay.
so both of them are in the music scene in the Houston area, but
Okay.
Ronnie is born in Houston but raised in East Texas
Mm, okay.
In Diboll, Texas, and we connected when he was very young, as he was part of the high schoolers who were coming in for the jazz band at
Mhm,
Angelina College, where I was an instructor,
mhm,
and we connected. Very swiftly and very quickly. And he adopted me and I adopted him. And he's been my godson from that day forward. And that was almost 20 years ago. So we have connected, and he is the son I never birthed. And
mhm,
I am, excited about the fact that we've been able to keep our relationship as mother son really
mhm.
strong over the years. And then he's been my when I did my EP. He was the producer for the EP. He's just a musical marvel. He really
Okay.
is.
Mhm.
And Andre was born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, which is where my family was, but I had never met Andre. We know all of these same people in Beaumont
Wow.
because my family was there for a long time. Before my grandfather was called to Chapel Hill in Detroit, he was
Mhm,
in at St. John in Beaumont.
mhm,
And so all of those persons who were his parents, grandparents, were in Beaumont. He was in Houston and part of that musical scene, and we just happened to connect one time, and he was very just open to collaboration, and
mhm.
so that therein lied that the birth of that relationship.
Wonderful. We're talking with Valencia Etner, known as Mama V in the Love and Stuff community, and known as Pastor V in V Encouragement Ministries and Miles Chapel CME Church in Texas. And we're talking about Songs of Love, which is happening tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can get a virtual ticket, and we're going to give you a chance in just a moment to win a ticket. We just want you to click share, and I see that some folks have done that. Thank you. I think Ben Jackson is tagging
Yes,
folks.
she's my friend and my former colleague at Angelina College, and she is always the one to make connections like this, and so I'm excited that she's doing that. It's great.
Fantastic. Thank you for tagging, and everybody else tag so you get a chance to win a ticket, because some of the things that we're talking about are going to be the questions that I'm going to have you drop the answers in the comment, and the first person to do that will win this ticket to this awesome, awesome concert that's going to be happening. My screen is trying to fade on me. That's all right. We got it going. Um, this awesome, awesome concert that is going to be happening this evening. Now, back to you, because you told us a little bit about who's going to be with you. Um, you have done singing all of your life. As you mentioned, your grandfather was pastor of church. Family has always been in the church, pastors, family full of people that are churched, I will say. Um, but you've also been, for a very long time, a noted actress, a thespian. And so tell us a little bit about this role that you had that I always ask you about being the queen of soul.
And
Tell us about
interesting,
that.
I'm doing one of her songs tonight too. So anyway,
I was going to ask
um,
that. Yes.
yes. So I was part of the theater community in Detroit.
Mhm,
And let me give a shout out to the Petty Players, which got me started doing professional theater. And I'm
mhm,
grateful to James Petty and that family for their um, their perseverance
mhm,
in theater
mhm,
in the Detroit area.
mhm,
But went to college in Indiana. I was a music major when I went, and I shifted to theater when I realized that doing an aria meant nothing if I didn't know why I was standing on that side of the stage.
mhm,
So I started doing theater. And then when I returned home, I connected with Petty Players and began doing shows and also teaching for their educational wing with young people and doing youth theater with them in the summer. It was a very, very just a blessed time. And so then I left and went to New York, came back home. Before that, I left and went to New York, tried to get my equity card, tried to do all of that, received it doing theater at the Attic Theater, which is no more, at in Detroit, where I was able to do several shows, including Home and uh, the uh, the adaptation of three of Zora Neale Hurston's stories called Spunk
Mhm.
and Beehive.
Indeed.
Ironically, the young man who was the director of Beehive was my college classmate at DePaul, and happened to be working for the Attic for that time, and so that collaboration happened. So we did Beehive, and then those of you who remember Danita Asbury, Danita was in a very young actress at that time and a part of that cast, and so uh, and Beans Bowles and that Pam Pam Wise Harrison was the musical director, and so that became a collaboration of love across the board. And it was the songs of the '60s from girls and girls groups, so to speak.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I had the opportunity to do a few of Aretha Franklin's songs in the midst of that production, and the way that it had been designed and directed allowed that to be a moment where it felt like it was a concert. And so each of us had to, Danita did Tina Turner, I did Aretha Franklin, and um, it was great. It was great, and it was supposed to be there for 6 weeks. We sat in that theater for 6 months.
Wow. Wow.
Just about 6 months. Yeah.
What an awesome run that must have been. And so
Yeah.
night after night, that must have been exhilarating for you to do.
Exhilarating and exhausting all at the same time,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't trade it for the world. It gave me the endurance that I needed to be able to do some of the things that I do now.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, with the church and with the connection and music and arts ministry, knowing the logistics and knowing the staging and knowing all of those things. I learned that from
Mm.
theater, and so I'm very grateful for every experience, because
Yeah.
every experience has created who I am right
Yeah.
now.
And who she is Valencia Etner for those of you that are just joining us. And who she will be is on stage tonight. She will be on a virtual stage for you to see. You can get it virtually wherever you are around the world, as long as you're up and awake at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you can enjoy Songs of Love. Valencia, tell us, because you said it's going to be in the church, but it's not going to be any music that God, who is love, would disapprove
Correct.
of. So
Correct.
tell us some of the genres that you might cover tonight. Can you tell us
Well,
a few of that?
it's basically going to be jazz and R&B. There will be songs from they're all covers. We're not doing anything original. We wanted everyone to kind of be able to sing along
Okay.
and know what they were hearing. And
Yeah.
so anything from most of them are duets, because that's part of bringing us together. And so we're doing some Donny Hathaway and Roberta Flack, and we're doing some Motown, some Tammy Terrell and Marvin Gaye, and we're doing some songs that were not made as duets, but we're creating duets out of them. We're being as contemporary as best part, but also as dated as um, "You're All I Need to Get By." So it's and then the individual songs, you do not want to miss either of them. The gentlemen are doing Lovely Day in a way that you will not have ever heard it before, but will be ecstatic about what you hear. And then you don't want to miss Andre's Ribbon in the Sky. You just don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm
Yeah.
excited to get my ticket. And
Yeah.
if anybody else is excited to get their ticket, I think that Valencia shared the name of one of the partners that will be with her. I'm going to say partners in music tonight, Ronnie Coleman. What's the town that she said he is from, or area that she said he is from? Drop it in the comments. you'll be the first to win a ticket to the virtual concert. Anybody across any platform, the first person that I see, you have to drop it in the comments. Tell us where her partner Ronnie is from. Ronnie Coleman
Junior.
Jr. All right. Clarice Flake Cunningham says D-Bowl. Is that
Dieball. That's right.
Dieball? All right. Great job.
Yeah.
What I need you to do is inbox me on any of these platforms, Clarice, so that I can have your email address so that I can send you your ticket. Congratulations. I will see you there tonight. Now, I was going to say save a seat for me, but I'm going to have a special seat, I think, too, Clarice. So save a seat for me and shout out to your friends. Click share right now, Clarice, and tell your friends, I won a ticket, and you can get a chance to win a ticket too. All right, that's great. Clarice is one of the winners, and Clarice, don't forget, inbox me on one of these platforms so that I can send you your ticket. Folks on LinkedIn, I know that you're looking to be able to get you some great music going this weekend, opportunity for you to snuggle on the couch with your boo or your bae, or if you're rolling single and you're just securing that, I love it. Get your seat and start to think about and vision your next love. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Vision your next love opportunity and get into some of this love music and let some of this love music get into you. You can win a ticket if you can tell us what's the name of her other partner in crime. What is his name? What's the other part? So we say Ronnie Coleman Jr. and this other guy that she's been mentioning throughout. I hope you've been listening to the name. What's the name first that drops it in the comment? Wins a ticket to Songs of Love tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's the only place you need to be. And for you, you can win a ticket sponsored by Love and Stuff absolutely free. All right, we're waiting for somebody to drop that name in there. Thank you for Miss Jackson for continuing to tag folks. Thank you so much. We're trying to give away some of these tickets because we want it to be a successful opportunity to support a wonderful ministry in Texas to help them continue to thrive and flourish and do all that they are called in the center of their passion to do. And while I'm thinking about that, I want you to be thinking about, what are you called to do? Yeah. What are you pursuing in 2022 that will bring out the best of you and that will show what you have been called to demonstrate, which is the excellence within you? Are you summoning the excellence within you to achieve your purpose, to get on fire, to be ignited about your passion? I'm ignited about my passion, which is connecting people. That's one of my favorite things to do. I love to connect people. I love somebody to say, I need this. Well, golly gee willikers, I know somebody who got that. Let me connect you. I love it. It fills me up. But I must be honest, it has been one of the most fulfilling networking opportunities that I've ever had.
Because Marcus is ministry.
Yeah.
It really is ministry. Because when you connect people and they are able to move to the next level of their lives, then what you have done is that you have used the gift that you have to connect the gifts that they have, and it brings about whatever comes next from that. And if that is all goodness, then you have blessed them to be a blessing. And that it's, we always think ministry and we think church, or we think giving out food to the poor, and all of those really are part of ministry. But there are other things that you've been called to do that are not necessarily what people consider ministry, but it really is a ministry because you are reaching those who are in need.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a service. I just don't, I just haven't packaged it to charge, but it's a service. And I love it. It fills me up. The exhilaration that you mentioned about doing the 6-month run is the same exhilaration I experience, in one way at least, the same exhilaration I experience when I connect people together to really spark off each other and create something wonderful. And just to look back and say, I made that introduction. I think of, sometimes couples that I see that are flourishing that I introduced, I'm like, y'all got together because I introduced y'all. And I'm exhilarated by that because something wonderful came out of that,
Yeah.
And so I love it. All right. So I'm giving you a chance. I don't see the name of the next winner because you have to tell us the other partner in crime. So I'm going to let that one rest and I'm going to come back to it. If you don't remember the name of the partner in crime, do you remember the city that he is from, that some of Valencia's family is from? If you've been watching, drop that name in the comment. You will win a ticket. And listen, just as Valencia said, I'm going to be looking at the concert to see who's singing the Ribbon in the Sky. I want to hear this version of Ribbon in the Sky and Lovely Day. I want to hear these versions because I love music. And if you think about it, if you look at your life, there's a soundtrack in your life. Everybody has a soundtrack of songs that the first time that you remember have a memory. First birthday party, you may remember the birthday song. First time that you graduated, had a kindergarten roundup, or you might have had a middle school graduation. First wedding that you attended, or bar mitzvah. First sweet 16, first prom, first sad breakup or divorce. There's a soundtrack that everybody has. And we want to tap into your soundtrack and download a few more songs that might not be on your playlist, but we want them to be on your playlist now so that you will be able to say, you know what? It's not bad if I'm single. It's not bad if I'm divorced. It's not bad if I'm widowed. It's not bad because I'm either positioned to get some love. I've had some love to reflect on to give me a footprint for the next love, or I'm just receiving the love that God has for me.
Absolutely.
So we want to add to your soundtrack. Download a few things from Valencia and her partners today. I'm not going to say their names because one of their names is a free ticket. So you want to win the ticket. I'm going to give you a chance to do that. Valencia, you said about an hour and 15 minutes. What's the
we set
effort?
for an hour and we're set for an hour and a half, but depending on how because there will be a small in-person crowd, depending on how they're connected.
Sure.
Will determine.
Sure. Tell me a little bit about the effort that you've expended going into this. What have the rehearsals been like to get us to this hour and a half of wonderment? What has the rehearsals been like?
What we have done is that because we've worked so well together before, we've kind of went back and forth with things that we thought would be good for tonight. We did our work and then we came together. We had a really strong rehearsal, and because they're consummate professionals. This is not like the whosoever will. We need 4-5 rehearsals before we can have an event. These are consummate professionals who know their craft, who know what they're doing. And many of the songs were things that were already familiar to each of us. And so we just came together, and it was just the rehearsal was absolutely beautiful. About, 2.5 hours, as opposed to doing a lot of single rehearsals. In these COVID streets, we don't want to do a whole lot of, back and forth and in and out. But it was just really good to get back together again. And that's kind of how we'll start tonight, that we're back together again. And after all of this time that we have been apart, all of us, just being able to come together, whether it's live or virtual, and just be in a place where there's nothing that we have to do but just bask in the glow of love. And that's just what this is about. This is about just some feel good music. It's you can sit the children down and then give them a lesson about songs that they may never have heard before, because again, there will be nothing that you will have to explain. It is and where there would have been, we've made little tweaks and adjustments so that there's nothing that it will be said that will make people say, I can't believe they did that at church. So
I love that because, there aren't as many opportunities, Valencia. We're talking with Pastor V, Valencia Edner, Mama V, however you may know her across these social media streets. We're talking with her about songs of love. There aren't as many intergenerational music opportunities. And so that's one of the things I really love about this, and one of the reasons that I'm really, really excited to help to promote it in any way that I can, because it's an opportunity for grandma to sit with grandbaby and daughter and son and say, this was the music that we used to listen to. And they say, oh, well, maybe it's similar to this. So it creates that dialogue around music and brings some of that joy that sometimes children don't see of their parents. I'm talking to Autumn sometimes, and I might what she calls bust a move on the song. She's like, "Oh, you can dance?" She might say, "Oh, you like that?" I said, "Oh no, that was my
Don't they
dance
laugh at us? Why do
today."
you laugh at us when we do that? They laugh. They
They
laugh.
do.
I think it's not that it's funny, but it's like, for real?
Right. Yeah. And so sometimes we have a dialogue around, what love meant when I was a teenager and what love means today. And so I think that is so wonderful that this is going to have an intergenerational appeal for people to just hear some really good music, good playing, good instruments, good singing, all of that. I think that this is a wonderful opportunity. So kudos to you all and coming together as professionals, because you're right, sometimes it would take a lot of rehearsing for some folks to be able to do that. So for professionals to sync and to have that synergy and centality to be able to come and conjure up that con gusto in a way that it permeates every fiber of the event. And that's what I'm looking for. I wanted to ask you, because there are going to be folks in person and folks that are going to be online. What can the folks that are in person expect from the social distancing standpoint?
We pretty much have it already set because of when we went back in before the Omicron crisis. We had already pretty much set places for probably up to about 50 people that would be able to be in the building. And so those are in place, and we will do that as we have in the past. And uh, those who come will be able to enjoy that energy that comes from being in person. But I promise you, those of you who are watching the stream, you will have a front row seat. It will not be a camera, a, a phone in the back of the church, and you have to squint to see. We stream every week, so you'll be able to see clearly what we are and hear clearly what we're singing and what's going on stage. Yeah.
That sounds good. I'm sharing with some of the love groups. I'm thinking of the Grown and Sexy group that I'm sharing with. That's one of the love groups connected to the Love and Stuff community. So, what would you say to the Grown and Sexy? What can the Grown and Sexy folks expect out of this concert if they're going to attend? What's something in there that they can really expect?
They First of all, you're grown. So sexy is not what you hear; it's how you feel. So there's nothing that's not feel good about these songs, and you will, we're not taking you to the altar. We're taking you to that place where love reigns, where love has been throughout our culture, throughout our history, and it's great that this is being done during Black History Month, and it is the songs that are being sung. I don't think that there's one that's not um, going to honor our heritage as well. So for you, if you're grown and you're grown for real, you don't sexy doesn't come from words. Sexy comes from how you feel. So be prepared to feel all of that.
All right. I love it. I love it. Let's give away some more tickets. So, um, we talked about Valencia's background. She does a lot of different things, right? And among them, she's done some acting, considerable resume for acting. For acting, she talked about one superstar that she portrayed. If you can drop the name of that superstar, she portrayed the superstar in Beehive. Drop the name of that superstar, and you will have a ticket to this event tonight. And I'll get to be with you in these social media streets. I'm going to be there. I won't be in Texas tonight. I just couldn't get my private jet going in time, but I will be there virtually. And I love not that we're in the pandemic, but I love that I am able to have this much connection with Valencia and this much front row seat to some of the wonderful things that she's doing that I might not otherwise have been able to see. So I'm not thankful for the pandemic, but it has certainly brought us to some places where we can come and connect together in ways that we haven't before. And that connection is paramount for everybody to have, whether you're introverted, extroverted, ambiverted, omniverted,
Yeah.
omniverted. You need to be able to be connected. So drop in the comments, Beehive. Valencia was in Beehive, and who did she portray? I want you to win a ticket. All right. So we still got open. We talked about Ronnie Coleman Jr. and where he's from. She has another partner in crime. And if you can tell me who that person is or where he's from, you can win a ticket. You can also win a ticket if you tell me what role Valencia played in Beehive. The ticket is yours. It's waiting on you. The first to drop it in the comments gets this ticket tonight. I would love to give away the ticket to you to be there with me virtually in the songs of love. I love it. I love it. Tell us, Valencia, because you've experienced love, been in love, been around love, talked about love, preached about love, sang about love. What's your favorite thing about love? When you think about love songs, what's the favorite thing that you think about love?
Love songs for me provide consistent, regenerated hope.
Hmm.
Hope that there's going to be a place where you are fully received, fully accepted, and fully beloved.
Mhm.
And that's, for you talked about those people who are without a quote unquote significant other, who are not married or who are not in a formal relationship, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
That how does this, how do songs of love help them? It's that hopefulness. There are people who say I'm a hopeless romantic. I'm not hopeless. I'm hopeful.
Mhm.
And there are those who say that you can't have everything. I just don't believe it.
Mhm.
And until my last breath, I'll believe I can have it all.
Yeah.
You know,
And what
and
is it all? What is it all to
meaning
you?
I can do the things that I've been called to do. I can be the pastor, be um the activist, be the all of those things that I do, and still have love in my life.
Yeah.
So I just believe I can have it all.
Yeah. I love it that you're a hopeful romantic.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think that's going to be a hashtag that I'm going to have to use throughout this weekend because you're right. There are so many people that maybe have given up on love or saying, oh, well, I just, love should come a certain way. And you're saying it should, and you should have it, and you should be hopeful to have it and don't give up on that hope. You believe that you can have it all. I love that. And so I think that's a whole hashtag that might make its way on the back of a
Yeah.
t-shirt because I believe we should love the brand, we should wear the brand we live, we should
Yeah.
live the brand we wear,
We-
and then we should
mhm.
love it. So
Yeah.
if we say we love being hopeful romantics, we carry ourselves then differently through our space in this
Yeah.
world, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that every opportunity is the opportunity of a lifetime. It could be the opportunity for matrimony or mate, whichever you desire, and that you should never give up the hope of that you should live in a sense of expectancy about what you hope for, never giving up. So
Yeah.
I love
And yeah, it just allows me to sing songs that don't necessarily fit my circumstance right now,
it. Mm-hmm.
with 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 the hope that's the underpinning
Mm-hmm.
that allows the the feeling of love to exude from the voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's you have to have something in in order for it to be received, for it to be connected to.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are cynical about love, you can't sing love songs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They mean nothing to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That this sounds like an old clinic or workshop where you singing that song. Now, how have you sat with that song to be able to
Yeah.
sing that
Yeah.
song?
Yeah.
But you're right. If you're going to be cynical about love, put the love hymns down, put the love book down.
Put the love
But if
book
you're going to
down.
be hopeful, then sing till your heart can sing no more, because the love that you are calling to may walk in your door. I didn't even mean to rhyme like that. My rhyme ain't go together. But you got to
So
be
you
able to,
reflect on that which has been good in your life.
yeah,
those times when, especially early in the relationship, where you had all of that, that anticipatory joy of seeing
Mhm.
that person, all of
Mhm.
those things.
Mhm.
You do that, and then it's the age old transference. You transfer those feelings to that moment, and
Mhm.
you allow those to propel you to that place where love abides, even if that's not your current reality.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yes. If you're just joining us, we're talking with Valencia Etner, Mama V, Pastor V of the Encouragement Ministries, and singer extraordinaire who's taking on the stage tonight with her partners in love, singing songs of love. I won't give you the second name because if you figure out the second name, you get a chance to win the ticket. And we'll double back to make sure you give the opportunity to win the ticket and join me. I'm going to be in the virtual audience and I want you there with me, singing along the songs. I love to sing along to my jam and snap my fingers and reminisce of the 70s, 80s,
yeah,
90s, which is in 70s. I was just an adolescent, but I still had crushes. Everybody had a
yeah.
teacher you had a crush on.
And
So,
there will be all of that 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and even at least one that's current, pretty
okay.
current. So
So
yeah,
you're going to be covering the gamut. And
yeah,
so, yeah,
yeah.
I'm going to have to make sure Autumn knows that because
Because
but
love,
Autumn
he,
likes old school
oh
music, but
yeah, good.
she'll
Yeah,
play it and look to see if I know it. I'm like, girl, I know it. You might not know it, but I know it. You
yeah,
ain't schooling me. And she say,
yeah.
Uncle, you know that? Like, yeah, I know it. I know all of the stuff that you playing, sweetie, because
Hmm.
she loves that older music, but I love it. And so thank you for joining us across platforms or giving away tickets because I want you in the virtual audience with me. And I want you to consider sharing this, clicking share and tagging someone who may be going in the weekend not hopeful, that may be going in the weekend and forgot about love and forgot about the opportunity, or who does not want to think about being alone,
Think about it.
does
Yeah.
not want to think about what they don't have. And what you might have is the opportunity for some good music to inspire you to hope for what you don't have and what you want.
Yeah.
Don't give
Hmm.
up on the hope of the things that you want. They may, he may, she may be closer than you know, but you've got to recharge and restart this part of you that says, my hope is gone. And so it's the prescription of faith that nudges your hope to look forward to love. And I want you in that audience tonight. Either you buy a free ticket, or get a free ticket rather, or buy a ticket, share it with a friend, snuggle up on the couch with your own blanket if you're by yourself and you're Merlot. You'll hear Ronnie Coleman Jr. and Merlot. And why not have a glass of Merlot as you snuggle up on the couch? Or maybe you're going to share it with somebody else. But in either regard, we want to see you, experience you in the place in this great
So,
concert.
so here's the other people that I want to watch tonight. Those who are struggling with their love, who
Mhm.
have forgotten what this feels like. They've gotten bogged down in the day-to-day of it all. They've gotten
Mhm.
bogged down in the routine of it all. They've forgotten those songs that made them smile and made them uh, move a little to the music. They don't listen to them because life has become so pedantic and so, I got to do this, I got to do that, I don't have time for that. Just slow down for a moment
Mhm.
and remember what love felt like.
Mhm.
And it might rekindle some
They
stuff.
might feel it again. Come
Yeah,
on,
that
somebody.
you
Come
thought
on.
was dead. No,
Yeah,
no, it's alive.
it's
That
alive.
song, that was our song.
Mhm. Yeah,
Whether it is or not,
yeah,
we want to rekindle that which may be laying dormant
yeah.
because life has just been life.
Yes.
And just stop for an hour and a half, and just say, I'm not going to think about any of that stuff. I'm not going to think about anything that might make me stressful. I'm going to just be blessed by this memory lane or forward progress of songs of love. And every decade is different
Mhm.
in the way that it approaches a love. Some of it is a visual love. Some of it is um, that love that is so dedicated that it doesn't matter what comes. That
Mhm.
they're gonna hold on tight. And some of it is just the realization that you know when I think about where I am, your love is, yeah, I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good right here in this
yeah,
love zone with
yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for that. We're talking to Valencia Etner, Mama V, Pastor V of Houston, Texas, of Miles Chapel CME Church, excuse me. And Bobby Calhoun has joined us, as well as Bilal Muhammad. Thank you. I hope you both will click share and you'll have a chance just now to win a ticket. Of course, if you're just joining, you won't know some of the other information
Yes.
to win other
Yeah.
tickets.
Yeah.
But drop in your favorite love song. First person drop in their favorite love song title wins a ticket. Drop in your favorite love song title. What's your favorite love song title? Drop it in there and we will give you a ticket for free to this extraordinary virtual concert that's happening tonight, and in person version as well, that's happening tonight. Songs of Love. You don't want to miss these Songs of Love uh, with Ronnie Coleman Jr., Valencia Etner, and I'm going to have to say, what is Andre's last name?
James.
James, Andre James. So y'all can't win that ticket now. Let's say the man's name. All right. Bilal says always and forever. Okay, Bilal, you're a winner. Congratulations. Now do me one thing for this free ticket. Click share and tag someone and say, I won a free ticket. Don't you want to win one? Put that in there and tag somebody and inbox me your name so I won't forget, though, Bilal, I know your name, but inbox me so that I won't forget to send you. I need your email address to send the ticket to you. All right. Joy Be Positive Eaglin says Love by Music Soul Child. Oh, you starting something now, Joy. All right. Inbox me. You won. All I need you to do for this ticket
Be
now
good, my
is
joy.
click share and say I won. And tag somebody and say, don't you want to win a ticket? And post it. All right. And then I just need you to inbox me your name so that I can send it the ticket to you via email. All right. So I need to send it to your email address. All right. So I need your email address. All right, those are some good songs. All right, but Lindsay, what's another song that you would say is one of your good favorite love?
Uh, we're not doing tonight, but it is probably one of my all-time favorites,
Mhm.
and it is "Living for the Love of You." That's one of
Mm,
mine. That when it comes on, you can't help but just get
mhm,
into it. Yeah. It, so yeah, I was thinking that a good question for people might be, who's your favorite love artist? Because there's some people whose whole careers were connected. They didn't do other stuff. They just sang love songs,
mhm,
you know,
mhm.
or favorite duet,
Okay,
if
let's
you're
go
doing
with
something
favorite duet. Let's do
you're doing
favorite. Who's
something
your
duet.
favorite duet?
Yeah, the artist, not the songs, the
Right,
artist.
the favorite artist, favorite anything, almost anything. Donny Hathaway. Thank you.
And who else?
Give me your favorite artist. Let's do your favorite duet. Let's do your favorite duet. Let's do that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, you can go on and throw. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which decade, but
Yeah, just
um,
your favorite, whatever
you're,
is your favorite.
you're close, Jackson. Just give a person he did one with, and then you will be.
Yeah, whatever your
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah. Um,
So, Valencia, what's your favorite duet?
my favorite duo duo of people is, I kind of have two. Um, uh, Donny Hathaway and Roberta Flack, of course, they are my go-to
Mhm,
for duets because they did so many of them.
mhm,
But I really like, um, this is gonna sound really crazy because they have anything to do with tonight. But there are a couple of albums that I love that are duet albums,
mhm.
and it's Tony Bennett's duet album
Okay,
and Barbara Streisand's
okay.
duet album.
Mhm,
And Barbara Streisand does quite a lot of that kind of thing. But um, I, when I think of the first love duet, I go straight back to Rochelle Farrell and and why did his name just fly out of my head? Um, and Will Downing.
and Will
You
Downing.
know
Okay.
that nothing. Yeah, thank you, Bilal. Appreciate you. but Rochelle Farrell has done an awful lot of duets with people that people
Okay.
don't know she's done,
Mm.
and so yeah, there are a lot of good duets out there. Whitney did really good duets.
Yeah.
She did a duet with Jermaine Jackson
Yep.
a
She sure did.
lot of years ago
Yep.
that many people use for weddings,
Yep.
and it was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big Ashford and Simpson fan.
Oh,
Big,
absolutely.
big Sonny and Cher fan.
Yes, yes.
Big Sonny and Cher fan. And these two weren't doing this duet alive together, but I love the Natalie Cole and Nat King Cole
Yeah, that was
Unforgettable.
beautiful.
Big,
Yeah.
a big fan of that. Stacy Ladisaw and uh, come on, they only had one.
Kenny? No. What was it?
Uh,
Wasn't Kenny Lattimore she did that with?
no,
Was it?
she did with I want to. It's not Bobby Brown, but he was in a New Edition for a bit. What's the guy who did the
Oh, Johnny Gill?
Johnny Gill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And
yeah.
of course, I did talent shows all the time doing the People Bryson and Roberta Flack tonight. I
Yes.
celebrate my
So
love for you.
so Roberta and Donnie, Roberta and Peebo, um, and Nancy Wilson did quite a few duets with Carl. Oh, I can't think of his last name right now, but most people don't. Those people who are into jazz would remember that. But it just duets have always been really, you know, loving. Like people could feel them. I mean, all the way up to Tina Marie and Rick.
Yeah.
And Fire and Desire was major.
Yeah.
For
And
for
as Bilal was saying, Luther and Cheryl Lynn, big,
Luther and
big.
Cheryl Lynn, If This
Yeah.
Were Mine, a
Yes.
remake of Tammy Terrell and Marvin Gaye, who
Yeah.
were the quintessential
Yeah.
duet, like marketed to be a duet.
Correct.
And her untimely death ended
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
they were marketed, Detroit
Yeah.
Motown folk,
Yeah.
marketed as a duet.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
were, so that's Ain't No Mountain High Enough, You're All I Need to Get By,
You're
If
all I
This
need to
Were
get by.
Mine,
I love their version of that.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, those were some good duets. Now, okay, favorite love artist. Even though I don't know, let's see. Okay, favorite love artist. We'll do that, and then we'll try to give away some more tickets. I think because Bilal had some in there. I'm looking for others.
Carl Anderson is that guy's name that she did several duets with, that Nancy Wilson does several with.
Got it.
Really good.
We're talking with Valencia Edner, and we want you to get a ticket to Songs of Love tonight, starting at 7. Now, Valencia, well, we're gonna see what you're wearing, but what did you put into deciding what you were going to wear? Is that a big thing for you?
Yeah, it was, because I was like, okay, I want to wear red. I want to just be, and then I was like, but I also want to be comfortable, and I also want to be, you know, not preacher V,
Okay.
but singer V.
Okay.
And so, I'm good with the little ensemble.
Okay. I'm going. No one gonna see me, but I'm putting on my red cowboy boots. I'm putting on my red too. And I'm gonna enjoy the love. I may have to find me a favorite signature drink. I don't know, since it's gonna be all about love. I may have to find that out, but I'm excited about it. And I've always, concerts. Even if you're doing them at home, I tell people, zhuzh up,
get dressed.
It makes you feel differently.
Get your snacks ready. Energy to it. Yes.
Yeah. Get dressed. Spray on your cologne.
Yes.
Shave good. Get your mustache trimmed up. Get your barber cut. Get your fade going on.
And like we say, get your snacks. Get your beverage. Get your. Thanks, Bilal, for popping in.
Yep. Don't forget to drop your name in the inbox so I can send you your ticket, and then I will virtually hope to see you tonight. Not see, but see you. Tonight at the concert at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Songs of Love. Click share and tag someone so that they can join us. Now, Valencia, we need to drop that link in the comments so that people can purchase if they want to purchase or share with someone.
All right. I got to be able to get in these comments. That's not necessarily, I'll send it to you.
Okay, please do. And I will drop it in the comments so that people across platforms, folks on LinkedIn Live, folks on YouTube events, folks on Facebook, all of you that have checked in, please support this event. It is going to help the Miles Chapel CME Church. And we'll talk about that as we prepare to go to the close, to tell us a little bit more about the things, the ministries of that wonderful congregation, so that we can support them through songs of love. We're talking with Valencia Etner, who has a wonderful concert tonight with Ronnie Coleman Jr. and Andre James to join us tonight. All right.
Okay. So that's probably the easiest one to do right now,
Okay.
because that'll give us one instead of all of the multiple ways that can be done. If you'll just, do the um and indicate songs of love,
Okay.
then you will receive the link. That's the Zelle. So don't just email. That's the Zelle Connect. So if you
Okay.
do that, then it will. And if you go to Zelle and you send it to mileschappelcme@gmail.com, then you will get a link the email will be sent to you with the link for the concert. Um, and My Joy, you just have to inbox Marcus, and he will get you that. Joy was asking, how does she get her ticket again?
Oh, I didn't. Oh, yes. You got to inbox me your name, your email address at any of the platforms that you're on. So, uh, again, I put the email address there, but we want you to do just, you want to go to Zelle and then the email address that's listed there. All
Yeah.
right. And then it will send us a link. How does that work? It will send a link.
It will send you the link. Yeah.
Okay,
You will
fantastic.
receive the link from the email address, from the church email address.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Valencia Etner, for joining us. As we get ready to close, tell us a little bit about Miles Chapel CME that's going to benefit from this Songs of Love.
Miles Chapel is a traditional church, just celebrated 118 years of service to the Fifth Ward community in Houston. Very historical district in Houston, but has also been plagued with urban blight and gentrification and regentrification and all of that. But we sit at a corner, and that corner serves to be a light for those who are in the community. The pandemic has made it more difficult, yet we have continued to care for people inside and outside. And as we continue to partner with other ministries to make sure that we are serving that community, we've been involved in it, from food to vaccines to testing to all of that, because it's important that if you are a church, if you're sitting on a corner, if you're not making a difference in the corners around you, then you're missing the boat. And so in order to keep us doing the things that we would love to be able to do in mass, as opposed to when we have the opportunity, we have things that we must do as a part of a connectional church that we need to get done. And so uh, most people don't really care about what you're doing unless you are sharing with them. And so love is something we can share and we can give back all the time. And so we wanted to share this with people tonight at a very nominal amount, just to say, hey, help us continue to do what we do. And we're going to help you kick off this love weekend by sharing these songs of love with you.
That's awesome. And you mentioned being on that corner, and I'm always happy to connect people at the intersection of their passion and
Yeah.
purpose. And so I know part of your purpose has been when there were all of those natural disasters happening there in
Mhm.
Texas, that Miles Chapel and you were on the front line to help people who were experiencing the devastation of storms, and whether those that were floods and different things that were happening, and experiencing food insecurities. You've been right at the intersection of hope and people. And so I think it's important that people know that in giving to Miles Chapel, you're helping them to continue that work of helping
Absolutely.
people through food insecurities, through natural disasters, through this pandemic, to be able to still have hope and still live and enjoy the highest quality of life possible. As we get ready to close the segment, and I'm just going to play out some Black Arts Movement video. Tell us, going into this weekend, you talked about the mundane relationship where things might just be the same. We talked a little bit about people that may not have somebody as a love interest or their focus of love. I want you to talk to the people that are going to attend this Songs of Love concert who have just given up on love and hope. What would you say to them about joining us this evening?
I'll be preachery for a moment. 1 Corinthians 13 says, "Love is patient, kind. It endures all things." Endures all things. Your heart for love must endure the struggles. Because it is that love sets off the endorphins in your body that keep you moving. You know that, Marcus, that keep you getting up every day, that keep you doing the things that will bring you joy. There is a place of joy when love is in your life. And without love, not only have you given up on love, you begin to find yourself giving up on life, and that's not an option. So we got to find a way to harness the hope of love. And when you can harness it, even in a little corner, it'll give you a place to plant seed that can grow. And you may not have, I'm not advocating that people just throw their love at anything and anyone, because you're important and you're too important to throw your love away. However, keep your hope that one day, someday, someone will come your way that will be the love connection that you need for your life, that that is going to take you to a place where you're going to be able to excel in every other aspect of your life. Because I found that when you have love, whether it's self-love or love of your family or your neighbors or that one special person who is in your life, and definitely the love of God. When you have any of those working for you, it gives you energy to withstand all the storms that life is going to bring us. So don't give up on love, because when you give up on love, you're giving up on you. And that heart needs to know that love is available and love can come to you.
Awesome.
So be encouraged with that.
Yes. And thank you for joining us. And we hope that many more will join us tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time with Pastor Valencia Etner, Ronnie Coleman Jr., Andre James, and Songs of Love. Be there. You don't want to miss it. And rock along with me. I'll be in the virtual audience as well. Thank you so much, Valencia, for joining.
We're so excited. Thank you so much. Please meet us there. All right. Thank you so much, Marcus. Always. Love you.
Well, that is Valencia Etner, and she is full of love and will be singing all about love in just a few hours. And you don't want to miss it. It's an opportunity of the weekend that should be on your agenda to do. Songs of Love, the virtual or in person if you're in Texas, but virtual at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can go to Zelle, use the email address to purchase your ticket, and you will have an amazing and extraordinary time there. We're going to close with just an excerpt from our Black Arts Movement that we shared. It's Black History Month 2022, still rising in Black excellence. And we're going to share an excerpt from our reflections as we begin to close out Passion Fridays. But thank you if you're watching across platforms via Restream, of course, on Twitch TV, YouTube events, inside of Love and Stuff, the Love and Stuff community, the Marcus R. Holmes page, or any of the love groups they're connected, and where we're emanating from on LinkedIn Live, business owners, solopreneurs, HR professionals, you're going into the weekend and you need a little bit of love in your life. Well, get a little bit of love music going and join us for Songs of Love at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to transition to Black Arts Movement, and I'm so thankful and grateful that we had the opportunity to share some of the information from the Black Arts Movement from the 60s and 70s. And so here is an excerpt of that. And I hope you will enjoy some of the poetry that's highlighted, and we'll read up on some of the others that are also highlighted. And so tonight we want to talk a little bit about the Black Arts Movement. And I think it's an interesting aspect of our history, and I wanted to share it with you. Sometimes it's referred to as the artistic sister of the Black Power movement. The Black Arts Movement stands as the single most controversial moment in the history of African American literature. Thank you, Leonard Forrest, cousin. Betty Smith, I hope you will click share. Possibly in American literature as a whole. It fundamentally changed the attitudes of American attitudes toward the function and meaning of literature, as well as the place of ethnic literature in English departments. Although a detractor is, to some degree, African American scholar Henry Louis Gates Jr., who says it's the shortest and least successful movement in the African American cultural history, he once said. With roots in civil rights movement, Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam, and the Black Power movement, the Black Arts movement is usually dated from approximately 1960 to 1970. Both the Black Power and Black Arts movements were responses to the turbulent socio-political landscape of the time. As racial inequality prevailed and Black leaders such as Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King Jr. were assassinated, organizations like the Congress of Racial Equality, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense worked to protect the rights of African Americans. On the relationship between the Black Power and Black Arts movement, Larry Neal writes, Black art is the aesthetic and spiritual sister of the Black Power concept. The Black arts and the Black Power concept both relate broadly to the Afro-Americans' desire for self-determination and nationhood. End quote. The artists within the Black arts movement sought to create politically engaged work that explored the African American cultural and historical experience and transformed the way African Americans were portrayed in literature and the arts. While the Black arts movement certainly wasn't limited to poetry, poetry was the genre that saw the most expansion and growth at that time. Like members of the Harlem Renaissance, Black arts writers also crafted a Black voice that drew on African American vernacular, songs, and sermons in free verse that was experimental, incorporating jazz, the blues, and many linguistic and rhythmic techniques also characterized of the beat movement. One of the most important figures in the Black arts movement was Amiri Baraka, formerly Leroy Jones, who began his career among the Beat generation, living in Greenwich Village and associating with poets such as Allen Ginsberg, Charles Osen, and Gary Snyder. Following the assassination of Malcolm X in 1965, Baraka made a symbolic move from Manhattan's Lower East Side to Harlem, where he founded the Black Arts Repertory Theater School. According to the Norton Anthology of African American Literature, and I quote, no one was more competent in the combination of the experimental and the vernacular than Amiri Baraka, whose volume Black Magic Poetry, 1961 to 1967, is one of the finest products of the African American creative energies of the 1960s, end quote. Baraka also became known for his Dutchman, a shocking one-act play that was charged with symbolism and a radical Black consciousness. Other poets of the Black arts movement include Gwendolyn Brooks, Ed Bullins, Eldridge Seaver, Jane Cortez, Harold Cruz, Mary Evans, Hoyt Fuller, Nikki Giovanni, Lorraine Hansberry, Gil Scott Heron, Molana Ronkarunga, Etheridge Knight, Adrian Kennedy, Haki R. Madhubuti, Larry Neal, Ishmael Reed, Sonia Sanchez, and Tazaki Shange, Quincy Troop, and John Alfred Williams. Sometimes criticized as misogynist, homophobic, and anti Semitic, and racially exclusive, the Black arts movement is also credited with motivating a new generation of poets, writers, and artists. In recent years, however, many other artists, Native Americans, Latinos, Latinas, gays and lesbian, and younger generation African Americans, for instance, have acknowledged their debt to the Black arts movement. So I want to first talk a little bit about Baraka, um, Amiri Baraka, because some say 1960, arguably 1965. The Black arts movement was a Black nationalism movement that focused on music, literature, drama, and the visual arts made up of Black artists and intellectuals. This was the cultural section of the Black Power movement, in that its participants shared many of the ideologies of Black self-determination, political beliefs, and African American culture. The Black arts movement, again, is credited for starting with in 1965 when the Black Arts Repertory Theater was established in Harlem. Artists associated with the movement include Audre Lorde, Tazaki Shangai, who I've mentioned, James Baldwin, Gil Scott Heron, and Thelonious Monk, along with Maya Angelou, Gwendolyn Brooks, Lorraine Hansberry, Nikki Giovanni, all of them a part of this movement. Amiri Baraka was born Everett Leroy Jones in Newark, New Jersey on October 7th, 1934. In 1954, he earned a bachelor's degree in English at Howard University. Following graduation, Jones joined the military and served 3 years in the Air Force. After receiving an honorable discharge, he settled in Greenwich Village in New York and began to interact with various musicians and artists. While living in New York, he became a well-respected novelist and poet for his writing on Black liberation and white racism. He also met Hetty Cohen, a Jewish writer. Later on, the two married and co-edited the literary magazine Eugen. They also founded Totem Press, which focused on publishing the works of political activists. Jones taught at several colleges and universities before changing his name to Amiri Baraka. Baraka continued to publish literary works for over 50 years until his death in 2014. Records at the National Archives pertaining to Baraka include a sound recording of him reciting a poem that was considered to be an un-American activity. So I'm going to read from his poem. I hope that you are clicking share. One of his poems, and I am going to substitute some of this language that's a bit strong, I think, for Facebook, but we're going to certainly try to stay true to the art and tenor form of the poem, which is entitled Black Art. Poems are BS. I'll point what I'm substituting. Unless they are teeth or trees or lemons piled on a step, or Black ladies dying of men, leaving nickel hearts beating them down. F poems, and they are useful. They come at you. Love what you are. Breathe like wrestlers or shudder strangely after fisting. We want live words of the hip world, live flesh and coursing blood. Hearts, brains, souls, splintering fire. We want poems like fists, beating Negroes out of jocks, or dagger poems in the slimy bellies of the owner Jews. Black poems to smear on girdle mama, mulatto bees whose brains are red jelly stuck between Elizabeth Taylor's toes. Thinking, ladies of the evening, we want poems that kill. Assassin poems, poems that shoot guns, poems that wrestle cops into alleys and take their weapons, leaving them dead with tongues pulled out and sent to Ireland. Knockoff poems, dope selling wops, or slick half white political uh, politician air, airline poems, airplane poems are setting fire and death to white tails. Look at the liberal spokesman for the Jews clutch his throat and puke himself into eternity. There's a Negro leader pinned to a bar stool and Sardi's eyeballs melting in hot flame. Another Negro leader on the steps of the White House, one kneeling between the sheriff's thighs, negotiating coolly for his people. Ah, stumbles across the room. Put him on him, poem. Strip him naked to the world. Another bad poem cracking steel knuckles in a Jew lady's mouth. Poem spring poison gas on beats and green berets. Clean out the world for virtue and love. Let there be no love poems written until love can exist freely and cleanly. Let Black people understand that they are the lovers and the sons of warriors, and sons of warriors are poems and poets and all the loveliness here in the world. We want a Black poem and a Black world. Let the world be a Black poem, and let all Black people speak this poem silently or loud. And again, that is Black art from Amiri Baraka, the credited as the founder of the Black Arts Movement. We are talking about the Black Arts Movement today, sharing with you the Black Arts Movement roughly from 1965, some say 1960 to 75, but 1965. And among those people, as we read from Dr. Maya Angelou last week, we will also share from Audre Lorde and Tozaki Shange, from Gil Scott Heron, excuse me, and James Baldwin tonight. So we will share parts of them, and we will start next with James Baldwin. James Baldwin was born August 2nd, 1924 in Harlem, New York. After graduating from high school in 1942, Baldwin began writing. In 1953, he published his first novel, Go Tell It on the Mountain. Prior to releasing his first novel, Baldwin chose to leave America and move to France because of his dissatisfaction with the open racism and homophobia in the United States. In 1962, he visited the United States in order to participate in the civil rights movement, namely attending a march on Washington. During the height of the struggle for Black equality, Baldwin was widely known for his militant essays that illustrated the social and economic plight of Black Americans. His writings addressed the issues of race, but also mentioned the complexity of homosexuality and sexual orientation among the Black experience in the U.S. After the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in 1968, Baldwin returned to France and continued writing until his death in 1987. Records at the National Archive pertaining to James Baldwin include moving images from the Peace Corps, the Agency for International Development, and an interview with Pulitzer Prize winner Gwendolyn Brooks. And we'll read an excerpt of Notes of a Native Son. Thank you if you have joined us. We are Charles Blue, Daisy Moselle, Betty Smith. Okay, Charles Blue, Bilal Muhammad, thank you all. Charles Blue, can you help Daisy? I sent her the link on her cell phone. I would love to shout her out. And if she clicks on the link, you can get her in the room with me, and then I can bring her live. I want people to see your beautiful mother, who you love so much. And we love her too, but I know you take great care of your mom, and I just wanted to highlight her today. She recently had her 98th birthday, and we're excited. So while we're waiting to get her in, Notes of a Native Son, I'm just going to read some excerpts. On last night in New Jersey, a white friend from New York took me to the nearest big town, Trenton, to go to the movies and have a few drinks. As it turned out, he also saved me from, at the very least, a violent whipping. Almost every detail of that night stands out very clearly in my memory. I even remember the name of the movie we saw because its title impressed me as being so patently ironical. It was a movie about the German occupation of France, starring Maureen O'Hara and Charles Lawton, and called This Land Is Mine. I remember the name of the diner we walked into when the movie ended. It was the American Diner. When we walked in, the counterman asked what we wanted, and I remember answering with a casual sharpness, which had become my habit. We want a hamburger and a cup of coffee. What do you think we want? I do not know why, after a year of such rebuffs, I so completely failed to anticipate his answer, which was, of course, we don't serve Negroes here. This reply failed to decompose me, at least for the moment. I made some sardonic comment about the name of the diner, and we walked out into the streets. This was the time of what we call the brownout, when the lights in all American cities were very dim. When we re-entered the street, something happened to me which had the force of an optical illusion or a nightmare. The streets were very crowded and I was facing north. People were moving in every direction, but it seemed to me in that instant that all of the people I could see, and many more than that, were moving toward me, against me, and that everyone was white. I remember how their faces gleamed, and I felt like a physical sensation, a click at the nape of my neck as though some interior string connecting my head to my body had been cut. I began to walk. I heard my friend call after me, but I ignored him. Heaven only knows what was going on in his mind, but he had the good sense not to touch me. I don't know what would have happened if he had, and to keep me in sight. I don't know what was going on in my mind either. I certainly had no conscious plan. I wanted to do something to crush these white faces, which were crushing me. I walked for perhaps a block or two until I came to an enormous, glittering, and fashionable restaurant in which I knew not even the intercession of the Virgin would cause me to be served. I pushed through the doors and took the first vacant seat I saw at a table for two and waited. I do not know how long I waited, and I rather wonder until today what I could possibly have looked like. Whatever I looked like, I frightened the waitress who shortly appeared, and the moment she appeared, all of my fury flowed toward her. I hated her for her white face and for her great, astounding, frightened eyes. I felt that if she found a black man so frightening, I would make her fright worthwhile. She did not ask me what I wanted, but repeated as though she had learned it somewhere, "We don't serve Negroes here." She did not say it with the blunt, derisive hostility to which I have grown so accustomed, but rather with a note of apology in her voice and fear. This made me colder and more murderous than ever. I felt I had to do something with my hands. I wanted her to come close enough for me to get her neck between my hands. So I pretended not to have understood her, hoping to draw her closer. And she did step a very short step closer, with her pencil poised incongruously over her pad, and repeated the formula, "Don't serve Negroes here." Somehow, with the repetition of that phrase, which was already ringing in my head like 1,000 bells of a nightmare, I realized that she would never come any closer and that I would have to strike from a distance. There was nothing on that table but an ordinary water mug, half full of water, and I picked this up and hurled it with all my strength at her. She ducked, and it missed her and shattered against the mirror behind the bar. And with that sound, my frozen blood abruptly thawed. I returned from wherever I had been. I saw, for the first time, the restaurant, the people with their mouths open, already, as it seemed to me, rising as one man. And I realized what I had done and where I was. And I was frightened. I rose and began running for the door. A round, pot-bellied man grabbed me by the nape of the neck just as I reached the door and began to beat me about the face. I kicked him and got loose and ran into the streets. My friend whispered, "Run!" And I ran. My friend stayed outside of the restaurant long enough to misdirect my pursuers and the police who arrived. He told me at once. I do not know what I said to him when he came to my room that night. I could not have said much. I felt in the oddest, most awful way that I had somehow betrayed him. I lived it over and over and over again, the way one relives an automobile accident after it has happened and one finds oneself alone and safe. I could not get over two facts, both equally difficult for the imagination to grasp, and one that I could have been murdered. But the other was that I had been ready to commit murder. I saw nothing very clearly, but I did see this, that my life, my real life, was in danger, and not from anything other people might do, but from the hatred I carried in my own heart. And that was an excerpt from our Black History Month moment, the Black Arts Movement. To learn more, follow us on the Love and Stuff community page or on LinkedIn, Marcus R. Holmes page for more about this month's celebration, Black History Month 2022, Still Rising in Black Excellence. It's not too late to get your tickets tonight to Songs of Love, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, excuse me. $15 for virtual, $25 for in person. Kick off your love weekend with a little bit of love music. I'm Marcus Holmes. And what are you passionate about? Where are you focusing your energy this year? Is it in the center of your passion and purpose? If not, I invite and encourage, even admonish you to pursue the best you in 2022. Thanks. Take care, my friends, of yourselves and others, and have a grateful weekend.